Hey, looks like we're live. Holy cow. I can't believe it, folks. We're all here. This is another channel takeover. Brian left me the keys to his channel, and I have snuck in and turned the lights on. Welcome, everyone. Today's topic is how to be awesome on the YouTubes. Sort of an open-ended topic about all things what you can do on YouTube to make your stuff awesome. I think it's safe to say that nobody has the answer to that, but we're certainly going to give it our best effort. And if this show is half as entertaining as the private Facebook chat was leading up to this show with all the hosts jamming on it for a couple days, this is going to blow up the internet, because let me tell you, some of the things that happened in chat, I just can't repeat. I think it's illegal in some states. So before we get going, let's quickly go around to all the hosts, say who you are, what your channel is, and where your preferred social media is. Everyone, I'm Matt Haas. I'm from Awesome Wood Things on YouTube, awesomewoodthings.com, AwesomeWT on Twitter, and Awesome Wood Things on Facebook. That's me. Let's throw it over to Mr. Berkey, Andy Berkey.
Hola, ¿qué tal? How's everybody doing?
Fabulous.
I'm Andy Berkey. I am on YouTube as Andy Berkey and pretty much everywhere else, and can also be reached at blameberkey.com. And I apologize in advance for anything that happens there.
Dude, you have the best URL on the interwebs. I love it.
Gracias, man.
Let's throw it over to Eloy. Eloy, what do you got for us?
Hey guys, my name is Eloy, and you can find me at S4E24 Woodworking, and that's it. Next.
Good job. James Wright.
Hey y'all, I'm James Wright, and welcome to my living room. I do all hand tool woodworking, and you can find me Wood by Wright wherever the cool people are: Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, so on. Key.
Fabulous. We have a last-minute show host here, Russ. Russ, say hello.
Hello, I'm Russ, and you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, all under Simply Wooden Creations.
I simply like that. All right, Ryan, what do you got for us?
My name is Ryan, and I run the channel Waylight Creations with my wife, Amy, and you can find us on just about everything under Waylight Creations or Waylight Create.
Very good. Jimmy, what do you got?
My name is James Jacob, and I'm on YouTube under Shogun Jimmy, and several other social media platforms as Shogun Jimmy as well.
Good deal. Good deal. All right, so what do you have to do to be awesome on YouTube? That's the question. What we'll do is we'll just, throw out comments, and we'll just all riff off of them. One of the things I think works well as a content creator on YouTube is getting to the point, cutting out the fluff and saying what you have to say without a whole bunch of, prefix dialogue, a lot of doing what you're going to do, a lot of saying what you've just done. One person on this panel is really good about getting to the point and has a show that's less than a minute long. Andy, I'm talking about your Give Me a Minute stuff. Why don't you talk a little bit about that and let the folks know how that's doing on your channel and what's working with that. I'd love to hear it.
Thanks, Matt. The Give Me a Minute was born out of kind of a selfish motivation. I was sort of obsessively not doing editing, trying to get it, just absolutely perfect. And I wish I had a beard as awesome as Russ's, but I don't. And so what I did is actually Wes Swain from Geeksmithing, who's an incredible dude. We kind of hatched the idea a few months ago, probably 6 months or so ago, of just a single tip in exactly 1 minute. And what it really does is forces you to, like you say, anything extraneous, shiny chrome bumpers, any of that is out the window, and you just got to deliver and bail. And I think it's cool for the audience because they get what they want and they're out. And it's really good for me because, you can't do a whole lot of fancy editing in a minute.
One thing I like on that is you let other people guest host it. And that's just one of the most amazing things I've seen.
That, it's weird. That's kind of, I'm all about, just letting stuff happen kind of organically. And it's a great point, Jimmy. It's just, that kind of, it just sort of started happening. And, Matt's been on and all sorts of people. I got David Welder doing one here pretty quick. And, it's just, it makes it fun. And I hope the audience digs it.
I think you found the right ratio of, there's a guest segment on Give Me a Minute, and then maybe two or a few that you do your solo, and then another one will come along. I think you kind of hit that perfect going forward. So I do like that.
I mean, admittedly, just kind of rolling with what's happening and not hugely, orchestrated or anything, and just doing what feels right. And hopefully it strikes a chord with everybody.
I'm curious, with that short time frame, I suspect that on the analytics, if you look at the retention, I wonder if people watch it the whole way through that. I mean, is it really a jumping off point? I mean, if you can't commit to a minute.
It is pretty weird because I have looked at the analytics on that, and surprisingly, there's always like 54 seconds is the average. And it's like, you can't give me another 6 seconds? Come on, man. Give me a minute. Just give me a minute.
That's right. Oh my gosh, too funny.
But that's the world we live in, and it's I don't know. I think it kind of sets up the longer build videos because those are 3 to 5 minutes typically for me, and people are so used to the 1 minute they kind of get off on having a little more in-depth information, I think.
Oh, cool. All right, let's hear from another panelist. Eloy, what do you think makes content on YouTube awesome? Let's hear it, brother.
All right, so everything that Andy just said is spot on. But if you look at people that are successful, on YouTube with making and in general, but let's stick to making, you will notice things in tandem. And that's, they do a project to whatever level, but they also tell a story, become personal in a subtle way or in a very direct way. And the effect of that, in my opinion, is that it draws the viewer to become more, feels like you're a buddy, or you're on the couch with the person, sitting down, talk. You're learning about that person, and it's very effective. What Ryan does, in fact, interviewing people and getting to know the backgrounds. And in fact, with Berkey, he's got a lot of interviews out there spread throughout. I just saw one with Jack Bench that you listen to story. So you get of the person, whatever format they're using, and a build, plus the short time. I think it's, for me, a winning combination. So that's what I kind of consider effective and awesome.
Dude, I totally agree. Whenever you can give a little bit more about yourself, give that background, or if the build has sort of a story to it, something happened that inspired you, bringing that across on your channel, I think just takes it to a whole other level.
And Eloy's great at that because he always tells us, well, not always, but in a lot of his videos, he tells a story behind it that sometimes has nothing to do with what he's building, but it just adds that extra element to it that just makes it perfect.
Yeah.
Plus, he's
Also,
into Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering and all kinds of geeky cool stuff. I love the geeky cool stuff.
also, the one other thing that maybe it doesn't work, but I like it, and maybe it's like a bad idea, but I love insane, random, totally out of left field injection of a video, like a little portion of a video excerpt, kind of just insanity, right? Abstraction, a little bit of a sprinkling of that. I like that because it just throws people's brains. They're watching and it kind of like, so that's another element, perhaps.
Like worshiping the epicness of Russ's beard. I'm just saying.
Now, who doesn't do that? Come
I think
on.
a lot of it has to do with too, though, is some people have more of a personality in front of the camera than others. I mean, it just comes natural for some people that they can just stand in front of a camera and boom, they're out there and everybody likes them. I mean, it just becomes natural for them. To me, it's taken me a while to learn how to talk to the camera and be in front of the camera. It was very, very, very hard for me to start off with, but I noticed there's a lot of people like Ramsey. I mean, everybody knows Steve Ramsey, and he definitely has got what it takes to get in front of the camera and draw the audience.
I think a lot of that is really kind of an experience of being personal with the audience, even though they're not there. I think a lot of times when people make a script for something and they follow it to the letter, it becomes impersonal. Whereas if it's kind of off the cuff and a little bit more who you are, and you can allow yourself to have a little bit of fun with the camera, you can get your personality to come through a lot more than just following a rote series of steps you've planned out.
I totally agree. Often,
but that doesn't mean leave your whole script, leave a whole planning out, and just go off the cuff. I mean, there's a balance there.
I actually had an experience with that recently with Ryan. If you watch my interview, at first I was really kind of cold and mechanical, and then until I like stuttered and kind of lost my wording a little bit. After that, all that scripting or any thought I had in advance just went away, and I just started really talking with Ryan, and it was just such a great experience.
That was a cool interview. Yeah, it was neat to learn more about you. And you're right, it did get very natural. When you're by yourself, though, when talking to the camera, if it can feel like a two-way conversation, obviously it's not because it's just you talking. But if you present it in such a way where it could be a two-way conversation, then I think it becomes less robotic and more natural, and people resonate to it.
Like your video today.
The promo for this? Oh yeah, I was in a strange mood for that. If you didn't see the promo for this this show, it's yeah, I kind of go a little nuts.
Did you post that on your channel? Is that just
wanted to bring forward for this topic?
If anybody didn't see it, that Matt, during a promotion for this show, was talking to an abstract third person off screen, which to me, I mean, I laughed audibly. I thought it was just brilliant, man, because that's exactly what, you know, I think James sort of touched on it, is, you know, that scripted, not scripted conversation. That's it's freaking brilliant, man.
I did have fun with that. And, you know, I'm just throwing stuff against the wall, seeing what sticks. I thought I would invent, you know, someone named Schmitty who I'm talking to. And then I also invented an agent, because I would say, get my agent on the line. I don't have an agent. There was no one named Schmitty next to me. But yeah, I'm just like everyone else, trying to figure out what works. All right. Let's go around to some more people. James, did you want to bring anything else forward? James Wright?
Yeah, one thing that I did a while ago, and it really took my channel from just kind of doing dumb things to really making serious progress, was creating a plan and sticking to it. And my plan is one of those ultimately crazy things. I put out 3 videos a week, and I do it religiously. I release them all at the exact same hour on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And it is a plan that people have gotten used to. And part of that is that I've gotten a great following. There's a group of people who it kind of feels like a family because they're used to that system. And that going that wild is not good for most people. But having at least some normalcy to how you release and when you release is extremely important to building an audience, whether that is, once a week or it is something that happens on a regular basis that people can plan for. I think that's something that YouTube particularly is looking for.
I want to say something on that point. When you're talking about releasing on a regular schedule, I think that's cool. I don't stick to that script. Maybe I'm shooting myself on the foot. I release when I'm ready. But here's one thing I noticed that I would kind of like to see less of. It's that when people start off by saying, "I'm so sorry I missed the deadline, I'm a day late," or, "Oh, I apologize so much because I'm 3 days late." I'm like, don't do that. Just publish the show. Yeah. I don't know. Drawing attention to that, to me, I would kind of rather just not have that. But
I'm curious, James, do you announce it to all of your followers that you have that set schedule, or do you just follow it, in your own mind?
I follow it in my own mind, and I have mentioned it about once every 2 months in my regular shop updates. But if you are the type of person who wants to follow what I'm doing, it becomes extremely apparent very quickly because it is so packed together. Because it is 3 times a week, there's always a video coming out. It's something that it occurs so often that it becomes memorable.
So, James, to maintain that kind of schedule, what does your typical workflow look like as far as amount of footage, time spent editing, all of that kind of thing? That seems like an amazing amount of work for a guy that's got kids and a job and wife and, apparently well-rounded person, which I have no idea what that feels like, but.
Well, the first video is Tuesday, and that's a shop report. That is usually shot either Monday night or Tuesday morning. That is about 30 minutes worth of actual shooting. And throughout the week, I'm making notes in a notepad of these are things I want to include in that shop update. And then it's about 2 hours of editing and about an hour's worth of upload and extra. So all told, about 3.5 hours for that video. The other 2 videos are either a build video and a how-to about a tool or some shop tip or procedure. If it's a shop tip or procedure, it's usually about 30-40 minutes worth of video work of actually shooting, and then about another 2 to 4 hours worth of editing. A build video, though, for every minute of video, I'm expecting about an hour to 2 hours worth of editing. So if I want to do a 12-minute long video, I'm looking at usually around 20 to 24 hours worth of actual editing.
Yeah, that sounds like a good time.
Most of my videos, most of my regular videos are about 12 minutes long, 10 to 12 minutes, which for my audience, that works well. For most audiences, that's not key, but my audience tends to be a little older and they like that more detailed and slower video.
And what's your retention rate on those guys?
65 to 70%.
Nice.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, I find that if I do like a 4 to 5 minute video, my retention rate's down at like 40%.
Really?
But if I do a longer video, it increases.
Amazing. Isn't that amazing how even in the genre that we're in, there's different, subgenres, it seems like.
Yeah, and my audience, because I'm all hand tools, so a lot of my audience are the retirees who want to slow down. They've been working with power tools all their life and they're wanting to learn hand tools. And it's like my highest bracket is 55 to 60. So
really,
which is not usual for YouTube.
Well, you could certainly increase the production time by using power tools, James. No, just kidding. I want to apologize to James in the chat because before the show, because we gave him hell for being the hand tool guy. It's all good here. All right, Russ, do you want to bring forward anything that can help make content more awesome on the YouTubes?
Wow, you would give it to me.
You can come back if you like.
That's all right. It's what I think makes it more awesome is some of the stuff that everybody else has said. I find that keeping my videos down to probably 10 or 12 minutes works better for me and the people that are watching me. So that's what I try to do. And I did try to stay on a scheduled basis, but somehow that got all out of whack. Sometimes family and things happen and make things go different. But keep variety. I think helps make your variety of content in your YouTube videos. I think that helps draw people in. They don't want to see the same old thing every day. That also would help. I don't know. My mind's drawing a blank right now.
How much do you attribute your beard to your success, Russ?
I don't know. Actually, I've had it almost about as long as I've been doing on YouTube. I started this crazy thing about 2 years ago, and it has well become my signature, so to speak. Everywhere
I'd say so.
Epic.
And so I never figured, see now I've never had a beard in 30 years. Or I say that for 30 years, I never had a beard is because I worked for the fire department and we weren't allowed to have beards. And so after I retired,
well,
I decided one day I wanted to have a beard and never knew what I was going to look like with it. Never had any idea, and boom, started growing it. And here it is.
Love it. All right, let's hear from Ryan. Ryan, what makes stuff more awesome?
I guess, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, because I think everybody has different videos that they like to watch. I don't consider my content awesome, obviously. I mean, I'm my own worst critic, but I like to see, I think like Russ said, a variety. But I like to see a variety of different processes, different materials. Like you work with acrylic sometimes, and just everybody works with so much different stuff, and I love it because I can learn from it. And those are the videos that I pick out of my subscription list to watch. Is something new, something innovative. Just I love it, and that's what we try to do on our channel the best we can, is to learn new things, show people new things, and just try to make the wackiest things we can think of.
Dude, so I'm telling you, you are killing it, because like you did the one with the slices, you made the skull, and then you're doing backlit stuff, and then you did a bandsaw. I was like, you got that down to a T, let me tell you.
Yeah, always try new stuff. I know one of the things we're getting ready to work on, you said that slice technique. We're going to try to make as close as we can to scale an entire Batman bust using that layered technique. So it'll be fun, but yeah, just getting to see different people do different things and see how they approach it. That's awesome to me. So I can only speak to what I find awesome, I guess.
Yeah, dude. Well, you've got the variety down for sure, and I'm always tuning in because it's not always the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, back on that subject, and that's one of the things I lost my train of thought there for a second. Was when I first started, I was only doing. I've always been love to do scroll sawing. Done scroll sawing my entire life. Matter of fact, I bought my first scroll saw in 1979. But I started doing nothing but scroll saw videos, and then I realized real quick my YouTube channel went stagnant because everybody's don't want to come back to the channel to see this. How many times you want to see this guy cut across on a scroll saw or cut this on a scroll saw? It's constantly scroll saw. So that's the reason I decided real quick, like my channel had to diversify to do other things other than I would stay stagnant and I would not get as many people as I wanted to.
I mean, do you guys ever find yourselves getting bored with your own content? I know there's been a few times where I've been like, man, I'm getting kind of bored with this and I want to try something new. My audience has to be getting bored with it.
With me, because I haven't set up Patreon, I haven't set up any commitments. It's 100% hobby for me right now. I might try and tweak some things in the new year, but because that's the case, I make stuff that I want to make. So I haven't ran into that yet. Even the client work I'll take, which is very minimal. If it's something awesome, I'll do that client work. If it's something that I wouldn't put on my channel, most of the time, not always, most of the time will just say no, because that takes me a month out of making. So, but I can see where that could be an issue for sure.
I'll tell you this from the perspective of a working shop. I make my living in the shop, and that's the real conundrum for me. Is, you know, I gotta make rent, but yet I want to make content. So that, Matt, what you're talking about right there is exactly the hardest part of this whole deal for me. Is, you know, you try to take work that's interesting enough to film, but then you have to worry about how you bill the client versus, you know, how long it takes to set up cameras and, you know, all that rubbish that we do. So on the dark side of this, that's one of the absolute toughest things for me.
No, makes sense. All right, let's hear from Shogun Jimmy. Now, Jimmy is an awesome craftsman, as we all are. So there is some really crazy, awesome stuff on your channel. But what do you want to bring forward, Jimmy, as far as what makes
Thanks,
awesome
Matt.
content?
One of the strategies that I have, and I also share this with James Wright, is I did my no lathe pin turning. And so it was just like, you know, everyone's doing pin turning on lathes. I saw 100 of those videos. I saw none in a different strategy. And I came up with a whole different process. And I've had a really big hit on that. That's one of my biggest videos. And as far as I know, James Wright just did one off of chisels. So, I mean, that's the other thing that I find just amazing when I follow other people is if they're using tools in a whole different way than you think they are, that is very, very interesting to me. So,
without a doubt.
There you go.
So, Jimmy, you actually saw a whole different venue. So you saw that many pen videos and said, I'm going the opposite direction.
To some degree. I also bought like 25 pin kits, and I didn't have a lathe, and I was just eager to get out there and get a pin made. So, nice. I mean, it was kind of a both directions thing where I was like, I had them in my shop. They were there waiting for me, but I just didn't have a lathe, and I didn't have money for one. So got to make do with what you got.
Dude, I love that attitude.
Yeah, I like your style, dude.
I think along that line, also, if it's something that really engages your brain and you find yourself awake at night thinking about it, that's the thing you should make a video about, because if it's engaging you and you're getting drawn into it, your audience is going to get drawn to that because your audience is a lot like you.
Yeah.
At least it should be.
Yeah, I've had similar.
Shut this whole thing down. James just you know, said everything that we're trying to say here. Forget it. I'm out.
We're leaving on a high note, folks. See ya. No. We got more awesomeness for you. Trust me. No, I hear what you're saying. Like sometimes I'll just go into my shop to get a screwdriver, or if I need something just to get in and get out, I'll glance over at what I've been working on and I'll just smile. Now, it's not like I forgot about it. I'm usually constantly thinking about a project that's half done. But when I see the stuff there, I'm like, oh, that really is cool. And that comes through on camera when I'm talking about it, when I'm doing the build. I'm more psyched. I think that really,
I also
really
like
helps.
borrowing from other people. Like Matt, the next project I'm working on is a CNC acrylic project as well. So, I mean, just pulling straight from your book.
As much as I love wood as a medium, there's something about acrylic. It's man-made, it's perfect, it's the same thickness. You don't have to worry about the grain pattern of acrylic. It's a beautiful substance, and I'm really drawn to it. So there'll be more of that stuff. Good, I'm thrilled. I love it. I love the colors. I love the way it looks. I love how it's some of it's shiny, some of it's matte, some of it's translucent. Oh, yeah. Don't get me started. I really love that medium. I might change the channel to awesome acrylic things. No, I'm just kidding. My passion will always be with wood. All right, let me throw something out here, and this is something I kind of doing my homework. I mean, I'm hoping to learn some stuff here. A lot of people, in addition to putting content on YouTube, they'll post to Inventables and they'll post to Reddit. I know Reddit can be kind of hairy sometimes, but my sense is if you do it right, it can really help increase the viewership. And Inventables, there's a lot of people on that site, and I know that can draw traffic. So that's a piece that I'm missing on my channel. So if anyone's familiar with doing that, let's talk about that for a little bit and how that's working for you.
Actually, I have an experiment with that recently. ZH Fabrications and Crafted Workshop, two friends of mine, we do a podcast together. They get like 80 to 90% of their video traffic from Reddit and Inventables. Whereas they post it on YouTube and it'll get 500 views in the first day, and then the next day they'll post it on Reddit and it'll get 10,000 views. And they have it down to a science of how they actually do it, because the problem with those sites is you have to post things in a way that works for that site. You can't just drag and copy over a link. But then on the other side of it, on my side, my audience is not on there. So I will follow the exact same things that they do, and I will get 1,000 views in the first day, and then I'll post it on Reddit and other things, and I might see a bump of like 50 views. And so it's something that doesn't work for me, but for their content, it works phenomenally.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that the way it really is with all the social medias, that they need different material for each one? There's those programs that, what is it, IFFT or whatever it is, that you can plug some. What is it?
If this, then that. Yeah.
Right. And it will just blast it out there. But I'm a firm believer that James it's a great point. It's everything has its own special arena.
Your Instagram stuff has to be square. It can't be the 16:9. Yeah, no, I'm already doing that with Instagram, which I need to get better at on that platform as well.
Instagram is highly visual. Twitter is not as much,
Yeah, on Reddit, the thing that actually worked on there is if you post a link to YouTube, there's a thing on Reddit that people hate YouTube links, and they will bomb the Reddit. It'll tank. But if you go to Imgur, I don't know how that's pronounced, but it's basically like a vlogging site that you can put up pictures, and at the bottom you put your link to your YouTube, and then you link to Imgur into Reddit. It goes wild, and it'll be the exact same content, but it's just a different way of doing it.
Great. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that image platform is like the de facto platform on Reddit for sure.
I've actually posted Imager before, and what I had as a comment was like, it was a Reddit link to Imgur to YouTube. No, thank you. Done. So it was very interesting to have that one show up.
They're wising up to it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Give you a little heads up, a little shameless self-promotion. On Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're actually putting out another Ask a Maker about using Instructables to kind of build your YouTube channel. And actually, James is on it. But I can't speak enough about Instructables. It has helped grow our channel probably faster than anything else has. Just another community, but it takes more time. You have to invest more time into Instructables. But man, is it worth it.
Isn't the trick there to take lots of still photos during the process? Because that's what you'll need.
Yeah, but it's not that hard if your video editing software can put out still frames in bulk. Like I can do skip frame. I can skip every like 5th frame, and I just grab my images right out of my video.
Oh.
And they're all 1080p, so they're not bad images.
Right.
So,
And then you have them all in sequential order.
right.
Now,
I'd like to throw in on this one. I think that the most effective form of promotion, in my opinion, is the relationships that the actual different platforms are vital, but the most concrete, effective thing is to have and build relationships with like-minded people of all degrees of success. People share ideas and get inspired by others' success and failures and whatnot, and cross-pollinating their content regardless of hierarchies and whatnot. I think building relationships. Doesn't have to be a Siamese twin stitched at the hip, but a simple share of someone's content that may not have the views the world to them. And those relationships, I think that's the most effective. And for instance, prior to my interactions with Shogun Jimmy, he challenged me to do this challenge and this and that, and I was never interested in any type of interpersonal relationships with other makers per se. I just wanted to do my content and let it go. But I've found value in sharing with others and sharing others, trying to be as selfless as possible, because what ends up happening is that it snowballs helping others, right? And in the end, you're actually helping yourself to be a better person, to get different points of views. It opens up your world. So I think beyond everything, we're human beings, and would be that.
Yeah, the two-way communication is so critical. I think you nailed it, because you don't just want to take, you want to give to the community. And I love doing that. If I'm not an expert in everything, but if I can have a two-way conversation and connect, make a real connection with someone, especially if they're asking for an idea or help, or they have a question, I'm always there to help, spreading the knowledge. I absolutely agree that everyone should be raised up at the same time.
Actually, when I think about the past videos that I've done, every video that I think is awesome in my mind right now have all been collaborations. I could sit here and talk about my individual videos, and they're kind of boring, but when I could talk about, hey, I did this video with Eloy, and it was skulls, and it was fun, the rock maker thing, it was 5 of us going, making nunchucks with Mike. I mean, all that has just been the most awesome experiences that I've had with YouTube videos.
Collaboration's a powerful thing. It really is. It gets you in front of other people's audiences, and it could really get some people looking at your stuff for sure.
But by the way, one other thing, selfishly, I like back in the day, in the 80s, I used to walk into the record stores, and I wouldn't know many of the bands, them by the covers and the names. Oh, I like this. I'll test that, because you could only buy one, because you get paid, and then you can splurge on one. So a lot of the names, I'll tell you, this is a lot of the names I see. Oh crap! Look at this guy's name. I like that, and I'll go and check their stuff out just based on their name. So to me, it's kind of like an innocent thing, exploring, but sometimes you end up finding kick-ass stuff. Whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
I was told a while ago that shout outs are the currency of YouTube. And I find that it's in reverse. You're not paying a shout out. Anytime you give a shout out, you are investing in someone else, and that will come back to you.
That's well said. I used to, when I carried apprentices in the shop back in the day, I used to tell them, it's not good enough to be good. This business, whatever business it is still about people. And it's just a rephrasing of what Eloy said. It's don't fool yourself that you're that awesome that people are going to look at you just because you're cool and you have awesome hair. Like James, James and Jim, you know, Jimmy and I, you know, everybody's jealous of our hair, but we still have to be relatable and knowledgeable. Of course, you have to transfer some knowledge, but the huge thing is, you know, it's about people, man.
Dude, yeah, communication skills for any industry is key. Yeah, if you can't get along, you know, your resume on the printed word is only going to get you so far, if at all anywhere. It's all who you know and how you relate to people.
Yeah, Berkey, I think you brought up a really good point there. If you look at the panel here particularly, you can see that it's extremely important that if you want to be successful, you need to have a beard.
That's a good point.
Everyone, oh, Matt, oh, I'm sorry,
I
Matt.
try, dude. It comes in spotty. I can't get it.
That's why Russ is awesome. Look at that guy. Look at him. Look at that guy.
I think as this starts to go, I'm gonna have to do this because you have to have some sort of proportion.
Okay, stop. Don't mock us.
Samson told Delilah to get her cotton picking fingers off his curly hair, and there's a reason for that. There's power in the beard.
Oh, baby. All right, I got one more thing that could be considered awesome. Well, I don't know if it makes you awesome, but it certainly helps you catch a lot of eyeballs. It's that when you make something that's, I guess for lack of a better word, innocuous, like it applies to everybody. So a lot of my stuff is geek culture. It's super niche, so it doesn't really explode like I think it could. But my shadow box build, I just built a small shadow box, and you could collapse it and get at the item and, you know, put it back together. And I think that resonated. It's blowing up because I don't think people tune in to see the item I put in the shadow box. They just want to know how to build a shadow box. So for me, I do so much niche, geeky, pop culture stuff that it only resonates with people that like that. But the few that I did that are just ambiguous, just something common, that I mean, 5 times more views than anything else on my channel. So
yeah, I could agree to that too, because I made a video where I remade a hammer handle, and just because that's a nice function in society, I've had a lot of people tune into that video, and it just solves a problem for someone. They want to see how I did it, and there's 30 or 100 other people who've done the same thing, but that video keeps getting a lot of traction just over time.
Yeah,
I've put out over 200 videos now, and I only have a couple videos that have more views than I have subscribers, which for a channel of my size is almost unheard of. Usually I would have 4 or 5 videos with 100,000 views. But I only have one video that's actually doing decently well. And that video was one that I made as a throwaway. I had literally like 3 hours left until my deadline for posting a video. So I quick scrambled, did a quick test of wood finishes and put up a video, and it went as close to viral as a video could go for me. I think one of the keys to that is don't ever judge your videos or your ideas. You know, if it's something that you think is kind of interesting and fun, put it up. Or even if it's simple, I think a lot of the simple ideas are some of the ones that what you think is simple to someone else may be completely revolutionary.
Great point.
That's a solid point, man.
What about stickers and merchandise? How does that kind of relate to being awesome on YouTube? Does it help at all? By the way, Berkey, that is sold out. I've been refreshing that webpage daily. I have to get myself one of those skull caps.
This is amazing. This little guy is Seymour Make Better, kind of my logo thing, and the guy is crazy. You know, it's beyond, what do you call it when it's gotten a life of its own?
Viral?
When a guy in London gets a tattoo of your logo on his leg. I don't know, man.
What?
I don't even have words for it.
Yeah, it's
Jamie Page. If you don't know JP Woodwork, you got to look him up. But you know, it means a lot. I mean, there's kind of a lot of undertones to it, but But yeah, the whole merch thing is a crazy deal because, you know, it's kind of like what we were talking about of, you know, giving and people, you know, that little merch, that little guy shows up in people's videos and stuff, and you can't buy that kind of exposure.
I almost think the sticker thing was a fad though, because I noticed stickers for a while. It was like everybody wanted stickers. Everybody wanted stickers. You know, where's your sticker? Where's your sticker? Let's trade. And I've noticed now that has dropped. That trend has kind of dropped off somewhat. Not as many people are. You don't hear about it as much. You don't. People aren't asking me as much. Maybe that's because they don't like me anymore. But for the stickers and stuff. But so I'm wondering if that's kind of like a trend thing. Some of these things that we do or have are more like trends. They go real good for a while and then they kind of fall off. So
I don't know. For me, it's a little bit different because I kind of helped restart the sticker thing. I've had at least 5 people say, "You're the one who got me to buy stickers," sending me stickers, sending me really nice notes. It's kind of just, you might have to reapply it again, Russ. The stickers are very active for me.
Yeah, well, they were for me for a while, but it seems like it just kind of like tapered off for some reason. I was getting, 15, 20 requests a week for stickers, and now I get maybe 2 or 3, 4 every couple of weeks.
Berkey, the term for when an inanimate object has a life of its own is anthropomorphism.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Actually, that's my nickname. My nickname is Andy Anthropomorphism.
There you go.
And yeah, I ate anthropomorphism cereal this morning for breakfast.
Nice. Captain Crunch. That's the number one cereal for college students, by the way. Captain Crunch.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Russ.
I was trying to get that in there. I said, I think Andy eats Fruity Pebbles.
I do. Indeed, I do. It's true.
I'll drink to that one.
And I still can't grow an epic beard.
Oh, my. Well, what else is there? What else makes your stuff awesome on YouTube?
I have another idea.
Yeah, throw it out there, buddy.
What you could do also is kind of combine 2 of the things that we're talking about tonight, either storytelling and collaboration. So like a good example of this would be James Wright over there has hand tools, and I have a garage that doesn't have electricity yet. I'd be doing a video where I get my electricity installed, and wouldn't you know, James over there would challenge me after I get my electricity, to do a hand tool project. It would just be awesome. So
I might have to take you up on that. No, and along that line, out of the 10,000 or so subscribers I have, probably about 6,000 to 6,500 of them have come from collaborations. It is really the biggest source of new subscribers, and it's not always from other YouTube channels that are identical or closely related. They're the ones that are slightly different. They're the ones that have a slightly different audience, that are in a little bit different location or looking for different things. And because if you're going for someone who has the exact same audience, well, it's the exact same audience. So there's no one new you need. Whereas if you find someone who has a similar audience but in a slightly different place, then you have a whole new range of people that you can bring in.
That sounds difficult to put together.
Well, that's where the fun things come in, is that's when you can kind of jive things together, is when you can try and find, what does your channel have in common with my channel? Okay, let's do something on that topic. And you find that bridge that goes between the two. And then it also depends on how you set it up. Because if you set up a channel, if you set up a collaboration that is 2 people doing similar videos, but there isn't a connection between the two, you don't give the audience a reason to go see the other one, other than, hey, go look at their channel, they did the exact same thing as me. They don't work as well that way.
I've got this thing, this scary, it's kind of scary because one of you guys mentioned Reddit, and that it's kind of like a scary place. Who mentioned that?
I threw that out originally.
Yeah, Reddit, people can be real mean, but it's incredibly ultra effective to get people to see, you know, and maybe like the content enough to, not to mention getting, views, but as well as possible subscribers. And every now and then, I don't hog, every video on Reddit, but what I do is that I actually take the time, going back to what I said originally, to actually sort of invest time in watching other people's stuff and actually literally taking time to see if I can find, something to appreciate and dig, and then like their stuff on Reddit. And then every now and a blue moon, helpful because it's actually helped me, although I'm not like, a superstar, but every now and then I'll post one, and that video will start, like, you can watch the actual statistics, and you see the views is shooting up and all that. So I think the balance, I don't know, guys, I think that maybe I'm wrong, but I think that balances any platform you use is to be reciprocal with your actions and your time. But maybe I'm wrong, I mean, unless you're like so fantastic that you build like a little mouse nutcracker and you're like, I gotta see that, but generally reciprocal investment of time.
Ding, 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 ding. You went
whatever.
Now you
Whatever, man. Whatever. Oh, wait.
There's a book.
Right. Let me tell you, I've got something for you, right? Jimmy said, doing the challenge. I've got one for you, dude. I'll do one all hand tools, and you use power tools on your channel. A power tool video. Full-blown back front power tools.
No way, he'll kill himself. I don't want to see James kill himself.
Actually, I've been talking about that with a couple people. I've got another shop I can go to and use their tools.
Nice.
Can I just point out one way Eloy does awesome on YouTube's? The way he blends his woodworking with his music.
Yeah.
It's just fascinating for me. I just love watching that. Eloy is, not one of a kind on the maker community doing music in his videos, but he's up there. I just love watching that.
He's got a musical ear for sure, and a boatload of talent without a doubt. Oh, all right. Here's something kind of off the rails. All right, here's my friend Pat Lapp. He couldn't be on this panel, but I think everyone knows him. He has a channel called La Pic Bois.
No way. I'm not. No. Don't bring Pat Lapp in here.
Oh, I'm just telling you. No, he couldn't do it. The point is, to be awesome on YouTube, unless you're Pat Lapp, who is himself awesome, but for you to be awesome on YouTube, do the opposite of what Pat Lapp does. Because I'm telling you, did you ever see his channel trailer? The channel trailer is like the most critical thing you can do on YouTube, because people who aren't subscribed can see it. It's supposed to communicate who you are, and you're supposed to get to the point. There's a bunch of do's and don'ts for his channel trailer. Used to be, I think it still is. It was like, first of all, it did the 3D stuff where you can pan around. So it used cutting edge technology, which is a risky thing to do on a channel trailer. And it's just him, multiple versions of himself going around the shop doing weird stuff to like dungeon music. I'm like, no, that's not what you're supposed to do. And if you go youtube.com/unsubscribe, it goes to his channel. He actually has that short URL. I'm like, so yeah. Only Pat Lapp could pull that off. So if you're ever wondering, should I do this or should I not do it? See if Pat Lapp is doing it. And if he is, don't do what Pat Lapp does, because you got to be him to pull it off.
But it's an excellent point, because you know what? That's Pat's personality. The guy doesn't care. He doesn't play by the rules. And that, for me, is why I push play every time Pat shows up. Because I know it's going to be off the wall. I know it's going to be sick. And I don't know what it's going to be. You know what I mean? That's Pat.
Someone
I
said to
think
me,
that's great advice for YouTubes.
someone
Yeah,
said to me, Pat
but-
always delivers. And it's so true. And even like one little photo, it's like, wow. Anyway.
But in contrast with Pat, though, he just did his pin videos, which were great videos, but it was just a plain I made a pin video. And somewhere I was left wanting a little more because he just didn't do nothing really crazy in it. And of course, a week later, we saw him on the Facebook group where he stabbed himself in the foot with his blade, though.
I thought one of those videos he did do like a duet with, it was himself on the duet. And then Jackman's face came like it like faded in and faded out, and he said something.
The sounds of silence.
Yes, I was like, "What is he doing? I can't figure it out. My brain hurts." Oh my goodness!
You know,
All right.
the subject you mentioned a few minutes ago about music on videos. That's a good question or a good topic, if you ask me. To music or not to music in your videos?
I love the cinematic type YouTube content maker videos. I mean, some of the stuff Jocko whatever does is just jaw-droppingly awesome, and you watch it because it's so cinematic. I love that, but I also love the how-to stuff. If you're showing someone how to do something from beginning to end, that's good too. There's no one right answer.
Well, you got to know your audience. Like if you, did any of you see the video where I made a votive candle holder that was a projector?
Yes.
That was like one of the most cinematic things I could possibly do, and was a ton of work, and I love it. It was really kind of cool in the end. But for my audience, it totally bombed.
Really?
Like in my videos, that is one of the lowest videos I've put out in the last 3 months.
See, that would have been epically received on someone else's channel.
Yeah,
right.
but on my channel, if I do like a 15-minute long how-to on some intricate piece of hand tool joinery, it goes off the wall. And so it's really about knowing who's watching your content.
And for me, I mean, the music is one of the hardest parts. It has to fit. I mean, a lot of my stuff is, you know, my build videos are, you know, like church related, you know, Gothic stuff or repairing. You can't have, you know, some of Eloy's beautiful music, you know, repairing Jesus's finger. It just doesn't fit. You know, I think that's, and Giaco has said that where he said, you know, that choosing the absolute right thematic music is incredibly it's critical.
Yeah, because
I'd like to throw something out there though. I could do, actually, you know what? Maybe I'll start doing music for makers. I'll stop making and I'll just do music. I could do symphonic. Obviously, I don't have all the cellos and all the stuff. Actually, I have a violin, but I could do symphonic. I could do all sorts of. It's just that rock and roll is kind of like, you know, but I could do symphonic, ambient, whatever, calypso.
Yeah.
So,
But you can't stop making maker videos. You can't stop that.
hey, dude, I gotta make some bread around here. Okay, I've got a little puppy dog that wants
No, your job is
food.
your job is to entertain me. Good job.
I was just going to say, I did a little experiment on some of my videos, and I've done them with music and without music, and it absolutely really made no difference. Like my last video I just did, it absolutely has no music in it whatsoever. Now I turned the volume down when the tools are running, so no one's eardrums will be blown out, but I just let the tools go and put no music in it whatsoever.
Wow.
You might
So
want to ask
crazy.
yourself, what do you like to watch? Because if you like it, chances are your audience is going to like it.
There you go.
Yeah, that's perfect actually, because it all also depends on you, and like James was saying, you know, your audience, what they can suss out from your personality and all that, and so I guess on that level it's totally a personal thing, you know. So the truth is, who knows? In the end, we could talk for, but in the end, it's like the answer is who knows, because
if it's boring to
nobody
you,
knows.
if it's boring to you while you're editing it, it's twice as boring to the audience.
I
I think we're
love
at the
doing
top
that.
of the hour. You want to go around and say some final words and where we can get a hold of you? Why don't we take it all the way at the end with Berkey?
Well, blameberkey.com, because it's nice and easy, and you have to do it. You have to blame me. Do it.
Yeah, you're
Don't
always
be
to
scared.
blame. I don't know how
Don't be
that
scared.
works. You could be anywhere in the world, something goes wrong, and it's your fault. It's just crazy.
I know, and I like it. It's a self-abusive thing.
Eloy, where can we find you, Eloy?
Okay, guys, so my channel is Escajedo Woodworking on YouTube, and that's where I do all my content. I'll share stuff on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Actually, on Twitter, it's Eloy Escajedo. And that's pretty much it. I just do content and enjoy life.
Keep
Till
rocking,
we
brother.
kick it. Till it's all. It will be.
James Wright.
It will be.
If you go to YouTube and you search for Wood By, you'll see two things at the top. You'll see Toth and you'll see Wright. Subscribe to both.
I like that.
That's the best advice I've ever received in
Oh my
entire
gosh.
life.
Yes. Russ.
Now, wherever you go, just search for Wood By Wright, WRIGHT, and you'll find me.
Awesome. Russ.
Type Simply Wooden Creations into Google and you will find me.
Simply Wooden Creations. I love it. Ryan.
You can find everything of ours at waylightcreations.com.
Good deal. Jimmy.
YouTube, Shogun Jimmy. That's where I like to be found.
Good deal. Well, this is the Summers Woodworking Show, and I'm Matt Haas from Awesome Wood Things, awesomewoodthings.com, Awesome Wood Things on YouTube, Awesome Wood Things on the Facebooks. All right, folks, I hope we had awesome content. Thank you to the panelists. Brian, thank you for letting me take over your show once again. If you like this, you want me to keep hosting, tell some friends about this. If the numbers go up each time, maybe I'll keep doing it. But I'm definitely on the hook for a few more shows. So share this stuff around. Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll be here a few more times. Let's keep it rocking. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, chat room. I did check the chat a little bit. Hard to see it while I'm hosting, but you're awesome. Chat room, give subscribe to everyone's channel in the chat room as well. That's awesome as well. All right, Brian, thanks again. Panelists, thank you. Everyone, stay awesome.
See y'all later.